Hello YouTube, so I'm here with you today and we're going to do a little review on this app here that I'm using. This app is called Drivvo and this is a fuel tracker, maintenance tracker. It's basically an auto management application. So when you open Drivvo, the first thing you're going to see is your history. And you can see here I've already put in some refuels. I put in my last oil change. Okay, and what you'll also see in your history is what Drivvo is thinking is going to happen next for your vehicle. So it's showing my next refuel would be approximately 7 days from now at about 76,597 miles. Okay, so let's go through a few of the things here in this app. So we're going to open our menu sidebar here. And I'm going to start at the bottom. Just a note, I did go ahead and sign up for the Pro version. It's $6 a year for the Pro version. I signed up for Pro because I do want to be able to export my data. And that's a Pro version only thing. So I went ahead and signed up for Pro version, so you will see some things in here that are only available to Pro version users. You'll also notice in the free version, if you download the free version, that there are in-app ads. I did use this for a little while with the, as the free version, and the ads were not intrusive. I didn't really notice them. You'll be just fine. If you don't want to export your data, you're just fine running this as a free version. So we're going to start down here at settings. Okay. So we're going to go, let's see, we'll go into vehicles. You can see I've already got my truck in here. Okay. You can edit information about your vehicle. Okay. Make, model. You can tell it whether there's 2 fuel tanks or not. Some of the older trucks did have 2 fuel tanks. How much your fuel tank holds, what units you want to use with this vehicle. You can either select miles or kilometers. I'm in the US, so obviously I'm selecting miles. Optional VIN number, chassis number if you're using this as fleet management. Whether or not this vehicle is active, and any notes that you might want to keep about your vehicle. Okay, so we're going to go back out here. We're going to take a look at reasons. And when you do a fill up, when you record a refueling, you get the options for a reason for the fill up. So I added personal as a reason code. You've got trip, you got work. You can modify these, you can add them, you can delete them, set up your own reason codes. Gas stations. So we come in here, and these are the stations that I have filled up at. Okay, and so we're gonna actually look at editing these some. So if we go into this one, you got your name of the fuel station, you got your address. Okay, you've got the total amount that I have spent at that fuel station, the total amount of fuel that I've bought there. Now, the one thing I like to edit here on these is the name. For instance, we have like 5 Parker's fuel stations here in town. The name Parker's doesn't really tell me a whole lot. So what I would like to do is edit this guy. I'm going to call this Parker's Brampton. Okay. And you'll notice the name has changed. When we come back out here, now I've got Parker's Brampton. I'm going to go in this next one, Parker's. Okay, this one is there's 2 Parkers in Metter. This particular one happens to be at I-16. I-16 Metter. Oh, I made a mistake. I-16 better. There we are. It's better. Okay, so we got that. Now this last Parker's happens to be at Highway 301 and the bypass. So I'm just going to put 301 and bypass. Okay. Now what that's given me is a little bit more description about which Parkers we're talking about, and that'll come in handy when we go and add fill-ups. This Murphy USA, I'm going to go ahead and edit this one because this is at Walmart. Statesboro. Okay, because I think all the Walmart fuel stations are actually Murphy USA's. So, okay, so we've edited our gas stations. Fuel, this thing comes preloaded with a ton of different fuel types. It came loaded with CNG for compressed natural gas. It's got electric. It's got just all kinds of fuel types. I see no reason why you couldn't use this app if you're a pilot. You could certainly use this app to track and monitor maintenance on your aircraft. So you may have 100 low lead. You may want to add 100 low lead or Jet A or what do they call it, MoGas as a fuel type in here if you were to use it with an aircraft, or marine gasoline if you're using it to track your maintenance on a boat. There's certainly nothing that says you have to use this for road vehicles only. I'm actually looking at possibly purchasing something upcoming that is not a road vehicle necessarily, and I will be tracking it in this app as well. Expenses. This is just a preloaded list of expenses. Again, this list is completely editable by you. We've got services. Again, preloaded list of service. Again, we'll go back to the example of using this to track maintenance on an aircraft. If you had a service of, say, 100-hour inspection, you could add that here. Locales are actually locations, and the only location, these aren't gas stations, these are other locations. You may have a work location. You may want to add in certain client locations that you go to frequently. But the only location I put in is home, because I'll use that location when I do maintenance on my vehicle, because all my maintenance is done at home. I do my own maintenance. So I've added the home location. Okay, so we're going to drop out of settings here. Go back. And now flex calculator. I don't really know what this is. I think it has something to do with flex fuel, because gasoline that contains ethanol has less specific heat than pure gasoline, so you do get lower miles per gallon with E85 than you do with straight gas. And I think this calculator has something to do with determining whether or not you're better off buying straight gasoline or like E85. So let's go into reminders here, and this is where you're going to set reminders. So tell you what, we'll just delete this reminder and I'll add it back just to show you how to go about adding a reminder. So we're going to click on the little reminder icon down here. Okay, we're going to be reminded of a service coming up. You can also remind yourself of an expense. So like every year in May, my tag bill is due. I could add that expense as a reminder, say, hey, a month out, remind me, hey, your tag bill is due next month. But for this, we're adding a service. We're going to add fuel filter. So we'll scroll down, select fuel filter. Okay. All right, and we're going to make this a repeating deal. I change my fuel filter every 15,000 miles. All right, so I'm going to put in 15,000 miles. So repeat every 15,000 miles. It's going to remind me that I need to change my fuel filter. Now, initial odometer is where you put in when this is due next. So I changed my fuel filter, not this past oil change, but the oil change before. So I'm due for it on my next oil change, which should be around 82,500 miles. So I'm due for my fuel filter at 82,500 miles. So I'm going to put in 82,500, and that's going to say, okay, at 82,500, I'm due for my fuel filter. After that, I'm due for that filter every 15,000 miles. Okay? So click the check mark there. I've added the fuel filter, and you'll see over there on the left, the odometer, it's due at 82,500 miles. Okay, routes. You can add routes here. So again, you can use this for tracking your work driving for tax purposes. So you may want to set up routes in this app, and it will track when you make these trips. Okay, and you can export that data for tax purposes every year. I don't use that, so it doesn't really help me at all. But all right, we're going to go into services, and you can see I've entered my service. This is my last oil change. Approximate value $75. It cost me about that for the oil and the oil filter. But let's do this. I haven't changed my fuel filter. I have a washable air filter. I have a washable air filter, but let's assume that I had changed the air filter. Okay. So we're going to just say 76,319. It shows your last odometer reading, the last recorded odometer reading for this vehicle. So 76,319, just for kicks. Type of service. Okay, we're going to say air filter, and the value is how much that air filter cost. So at Amazon, an air filter for a 2014 F350 diesel is $17.99. Okay. All right, and the Locale, again, here remember I showed you the Locales, and I put in home just for this kind of thing. So I do my service at home. You can add any kind of note you want here, and there you go. So now we're showing that I changed my oil filter at 76,000, or my air filter at 76,319 miles. Cost me $17.99. And I'm gonna go ahead and delete that because I didn't. I didn't change my air filter. Expenses, I've already sort of mentioned this. These are things like your yearly taxes on your vehicle. If you look into the type of expense, you can also put in, like, I got a car wash. It costs me, full detail on my truck cost me $75 at the guy here in town. And I may actually want to add a locale. Well, I don't know his address. Okay, so let me click on the plus sign, and I know about where he's at over here. Scroll around on the map. He's going to be right there, that guy. D&H Auto Detailing. That's the guy I use for my detailing. Boom. I've added him. Okay. Last odometer, say 75,000 miles. Reason, it's personal. Boom. The odometer and date data are conflicting with a previous refueling. Oh, okay, it can't put in a prior, got it. It's the date. Because I refueled at 76,060 on the 24th of January. It won't let me put in an expense for 75,000 miles on the 2nd of February. So it's doing a validity check on what you're putting in. So you can also change the date. So I say I got this done, on the 23rd of January. I don't know if this will work or not. I don't remember. 15th maybe. Let's just say the 1st. There we are. Okay. So I got my truck detailed on January 1st, $75 at 75,000 miles. I'm gonna delete that. It is nice though. They have those validity checks in there. So refueling, and you'll see here in my list of fuelings, this guy here. I'm going to cut in a live refuel, how I deal with the refueling as I'm doing it. I'm going to cut that in right now. Okay, so I'm here in Drivvo, and I just refueled, and so we're going to add this new refueling. So we're going to click on the plus, go to refueling. Okay, my odometer reading is 76,319. I got diesel at a cost of 2.859 per gallon. Total cost was $65.19, which calculates to 22.802 gallons. That tracks with my receipt here. I am filling the tank, so I need to make sure I've got that checked. And then what you can do is hit the plus sign there. It'll auto-locate you. I am at that Murphy, USA. Okay. I'm going to check that. My reason code is personal. And in my notes, I'm going to put down that I put in 2.0 ounces of Optilube Summer. I'm using the summer blend of Optilube even though it's winter because it just doesn't get that cold here that often. So I'm going to hit check there, and you'll see my refueling right there. Okay, and it goes ahead and calculates my miles per gallon, 12.2 miles per gallon since my total since my last full tank refill, and it's already showing me my next refueling, which it kind of calculates to be around 76,589 in about 7 days. Now, the one thing you can't do with Drivvo that I wish you could is take pictures of the receipts. So I've got a different method of storing the receipts. What I've got is this ScanBot app. Okay. And ScanBot is a scanner app for Evernote. All right. So ScanBot has just taken a picture of my receipt. It auto-cropped the receipt for me. And I'm just going to tell it to save that receipt. And what it's going to do is it's going to automatically upload that receipt to my Evernote account into a folder that I have titled Fuel Receipts. So that's how I'm handling fill-ups and receipts with Drivvo and Evernote. Okay, so that's how I deal with a refuel, as it happens. And it's also how I keep track of my receipts. And keep in mind, I'm still keeping my paper log. I'm still keeping every receipt. I don't know if I will continue to use this app, but I like it so far, and I think I will continue. But for now, I'm keeping both. I'm keeping my paper log and I'm keeping this app. All right, and you'll see that fuel efficiency, 12.2. It's cost me 23 cents a mile. That's not good. It's not terrible. And One thing you can do in here though is if you don't record your fueling as you do it, all of these Parker's refuels I put in manually. Okay, the Murphy USA fuel, that's the first one I did actually at the pump as I did the fueling. But what we can do, let's just add a manual fuel for a prior date. So on the 8th of January, and I have this written down, I'm taking this directly out of my paper log, at a mileage of 75,530, I purchased diesel at a price of $2.69.9. The total cost of that fueling was $62.30. Okay, and when I click over, it automatically calculates the number of gallons, 23,083. Okay, that matches up with my receipt. Yes, I did fill the tank. Okay, and that location was Parker's 301 in the bypass. It was personal, and I used 2.0 ounces of Optilube Summer. I'll just save that, and there you go, right there. You can even see the note down at the bottom. So that's how you would manually add a refueling if you missed one. Oh, where else? My places. So these are the places, and I'm going to blur out my address here because I don't want any of you weirdos showing up at my front door. Just kidding. But these are the locations that we have used in this app somewhere, whether they're fuel stations. You can see I've got my detailer guy in there, home address. Okay. All right, where to refuel. Now you'll see here, this is sort of like the Gas Buddy app, and you'll see here that it's only selecting diesel because we're in the active vehicle of my truck, which burns diesel fuel. It's not going to tell me where to find marine gasoline. Who cares? Okay, it's only telling me where to find diesel. So these are the current prices near me. And even if there's not a price, it's showing you locations of the fuel stations. Okay, and this guy here is the Parker's at Brampton. Okay, 284.9. I come over here, the Parker's at 301 in the bypass. That's the Flash Foods across the corner. There we go. Parker's 301 in the bypass. Should probably go by there and get fuel next time. Price of fuel has gone up a lot over the last couple of weeks around here. But this is just like the Gas Buddy app. It'll help you find, where to get gasoline. If you are looking for something a little bit different, okay, well, you can select it. But hey, my truck burns diesel. Let's go into reports. Okay, you can see we start on a general tab, so it's going to give you reports from the beginning of time up to current here. So all total logged in this app, I have a total of 789 miles logged for the majority of January. I averaged 32 miles a day. I've spent $324 total. That includes the oil change. It includes all my fuel. We can look at charts, do cost comparison chart. It'll give you this chart that says, hey, 76% of my cost is fuel, 23% of that cost is service, and it gives you the amounts down there at the bottom. What else we got? Monthly expense chart. Doesn't really help because I've only been in there for a month. Odometer chart. It'll show you how your cost is. It'll show you not your cost, but it'll show you your odometer reading over a date. Over time. Okay. So we click here to refueling. and it'll give you a little bit more detailed information about your refueling. I spent $249 on fuel, 89 gallons. I'm averaging 11.86 miles per gallon over the entire month. My last fuel efficiency was 12.21. That was my best one. My lowest one was 11.16. So let me look at charts here, see what's available. Got a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I mean, we can go through, distance per refueling. We can go through all of these and select different charts and graphs. Well, it's obviously going to be 100% diesel. Gas stations charts, where I've bought most of my fuel. 301 in the bypass Parkers, 57%. It does have really nice reports. Now, I said that I went with the Pro version because I did want to export my data. Okay, so I'm going to go into refueling, and for each one of these refueling expenses services, you have this button up here in the upper right, this download button. So if I click download, boom, it's exported my data to CSV. So I'm going to click share. Where do I want to put it? I'm going to save it to Drive. Save it. File's being uploaded to Drive. It has been uploaded. Click on that. Let's see. Let's open with. Let's see. Docs. All right. Now, what we're looking at here is the raw data of that CSV. I'm going to sort of superimpose on the screen here a screenshot of what that data looks like if you were to open it in Excel. Okay. Then we'll go back to our history. So overall, my impressions of this app, I really do like this app. I think this app is probably one of the better ones for Android. The only thing I wish they would add to it is the ability to take a snapshot, a picture of the receipt when you do a fill up. It would be nice to be able to store that along with the data about these refuelings. I have a workaround using Evernote for that, so it's not a huge deal for me. There are other maintenance and fuel tracking apps for Android that do allow you to take pictures of your receipts, and they do store them along with the rest of the data about your vehicle. I think that would be a nice thing for them to add to this, but it's certainly not a deal breaker for me. Again, I'm not certain whether or not I will use this forever. When I first got my truck, I used the Fuely app for tracking my fill-ups and fuel mileage and all that kind of stuff, and I used it for about 2 or 3 months, and I just quit because it was just easier to write stuff down in the paper log. But so, like I say, I'm not saying I'll use this forever, but I'm saying I'm using it now, and I really do like it. I think it's a great app. So, yeah. That's my review of the Drivvo app. All right, remember guys, if you like my videos, if you like this video, smash that like button down there. Subscribe. It helps me, costs you nothing. And I'll see you next time.